What if there was a new kind of first responder? Someone whose entire job is to stop heat-related deaths from happening. All around the world, a silent killer is stalking our urban centers. It's not a virus, and it's not a crime wave. It's extreme heat. And it is the single deadliest weather-related hazard on the planet, responsible for nearly 500,000 deaths every single year. We tend to think of heat as a nuisance, something that just makes the summer commute a little sweaty. But the reality is far more dangerous. For decades, we've been building our cities in a way that actively makes them hotter. We've ripped out trees for roads and parking lots. We've built shimmering towers of glass and steel that soak up the sun's energy like a sponge. We have effectively turned our cities into giant ovens. There's a name for this, and it's at the heart of the problem, the urban heat island effect. And it's the main reason our cities are becoming increasingly unlivable. It's a mess of our own making, a direct result of how we've chosen to build our world. But if bad design got us into this, then better design and a new kind of leadership can get us out. The question isn't if we need to act anymore, it's how we can re-engineer our cities for survival. To fix the problem, you first have to understand how it works. What exactly is the urban heat island effect? Well, think about a city on a hot day. The sun beats down, but it doesn't hit everything the same way. A grassy park will absorb some heat, but it also releases moisture, which creates a natural cooling effect. Now, compare that to a patch of black asphalt. It does the exact opposite. It soaks up a massive amount of solar radiation, getting hotter all day long. Then, at night, while the countryside cools down, that asphalt, along with all the concrete and dark rooftops, starts slowly releasing all the heat it stored. This is why a city center can be significantly hotter than nearby rural areas, sometimes by as much as 10 degrees Celsius or 18 degrees Fahrenheit. And it's not just about what our cities are made of, it's about their shape. All those tall buildings create what scientists call urban canyons, which trap heat and block airflow. Add in all the waste heat constantly pumping out from our cars, our factories, and millions of air conditioners working overtime, and you've got the perfect recipe for an urban oven. But this oven doesn't heat everything evenly. When you map out a city's hotspots and lay that over a map of its demographics, a disturbing pattern emerges. The hottest neighborhoods are almost always the poorest ones. They're the communities with the least amount of green space, the oldest and poorest quality housing, and the most residents who can't afford to run an air conditioner. This isn't a coincidence. It's the result of decades of discriminatory policies and unequal planning. So on the same afternoon, someone in a leafy suburb might be enjoying a warm 88-degree day, while just a few miles away, another community is facing a life-threatening 105 degrees. This is thermal inequality, and it turns a public health crisis into a major social justice issue. The consequences of this intense, unequal heat are measured in lives and in dollars. When your body can't cool itself down anymore, it starts to shut down. Heat exhaustion can quickly become heat stroke, a medical emergency where your core temperature skyrockets, leading to organ failure and even death. But heat is also a threat multiplier. It worsens air quality and puts a massive strain on anyone with pre-existing conditions like heart or kidney disease. One recent study found that a single heat wave in Europe was responsible for over 61,000 deaths. The most vulnerable people carry the heaviest burden. The elderly whose bodies struggle to regulate temperature, young children, outdoor workers who have no choice but to be out in the sweltering heat, and low-income families who might face the impossible choice between turning on the AC and paying for rent or food. The vast majority of these deaths are preventable. They are a failure of policy, design, and leadership. The economic toll is just as staggering. Extreme heat cripples economies. Worker productivity tanks on dangerously hot days, with some research showing it can cut weekly pay by over 2%. Energy costs go through the roof as demand for AC strains power grids, causing blackouts right when people need cooling the most. In Los Angeles alone, the urban heat island effect costs an estimated $100 million every year just in added energy use. This isn't some far-off threat, it's happening right now. So if our cities are stuck in a deadly feedback loop of our own making, how do we break the cycle? For a long time, the problem has been the responsibility for heat is spread too thin. It's partly the health department's job, it's partly the planning department's job, and partly the emergency management office's job. But you know what they say, when a problem belongs to everyone, it belongs to no one. There was no central leadership, no unified plan, no single person waking up every morning thinking about how to protect people from heat. Until now. Enter the Chief Heat Officer. The Chief Heat Officer, or CHO, is a new role in city government dedicated entirely to fighting urban heat. In 2021, Miami-Dade County appointed the world's first ever CHO. Since then, cities across the globe have followed their lead. Athens, Greece, Freetown, Sierra Leone, Phoenix, Arizona, and Cape Town, South Africa, just to name a few. The UN has even appointed its own global chief heat officer to coordinate efforts worldwide. A CHO isn't just another bureaucrat. They're a systems thinker, a collaborator, and a champion for the city's residents. Their job is to break down the walls between government departments and get everyone working together on both immediate and long-term solutions. For the first time, heat has a face and a voice at the highest levels of city government. The work of a CHO really breaks down into two big jobs. The first is about saving lives now. When a heat wave is in the forecast, the CHO becomes the city's first responder for that specific threat. A huge part of this is just public awareness. Most people simply don't understand how dangerous heat really is. They think they're used to it and can handle it. So a CHO's first job is to change that. They launch public campaigns to teach people the signs of heat illness and the simple things that can save lives. Hydrate, find shade, and check on your neighbors. Miami-Dade, for instance, created a heat season from May to October, modeling it after hurricane season to build a culture of preparedness. But awareness is just step one. CHOs also create heat action plans. Think of it as a playbook for a heat emergency. A key innovation here is categorizing and naming heat waves, just like we do for hurricanes, a system being piloted in cities like Seville, Spain, and Athens, Greece. This attaches a level of severity to an incoming heat wave, which then triggers specific actions. At lower levels, that might just be a public health alert, but at higher, more dangerous levels, it means activating a city-wide response, opening public cooling centers in libraries or community centers, handing out water, and making sure emergency services are ready for a surge in calls. This work is all driven by data, using detailed maps to find the most vulnerable neighborhoods and send help exactly where it's needed most. Saving lives during a heat wave is vital, but the real goal is to build cities that don't get so deadly in the first place. This is the second and maybe most transformative part of a chief heat officer's job: redesigning the urban environment itself. This is where the CHO becomes a city's chief cooling strategist. The mission is to cool the city from the ground up, and the solutions are often inspired by nature and proven to work. It starts with our surfaces. Remember that hot black asphalt? The fix can be as simple as a coat of paint. Cool pavements use reflective coatings that can lower surface temperatures by up to 12 degrees Fahrenheit. Phoenix has already treated over 100 miles of its streets this way. The same idea works for roofs. Cool roofs, which are white or reflective, can lower indoor temperatures so much that they can cut AC bills by up to 15%. And then there's the best cooling technology on Earth, one that's been around for millions of years: trees. A healthy tree canopy is a city's best defense against heat. Trees provide shade that can make a sidewalk feel 20 to 40 degrees cooler. A single healthy tree can have the cooling effect of 2 air conditioners running for 20 hours. CHOs push for ambitious tree planting goals, fighting to create new parks and protect the green spaces we already have. It's bigger than just planting a few trees, though. It's about creating networks of nature. Some cities have created green corridors, transforming once barren roadsides into lush, shaded pathways that have actually lowered the city's average temperature. In Freetown, Sierra Leone, a project has empowered residents to plant 1 million trees, reforesting the hills around the city to fight both heat and erosion. It's all part of a long-term vision to make our cities not just machines for commerce, but habitats for humans. A chief heat officer can't plant 1 million trees or paint 1 million roofs by themselves. Maybe their most important role is to be a collaborator and a policy champion, acting as the connective tissue for the whole city. Internally, they build bridges between departments like health, planning, and transportation, making sure that every major decision, from a new zoning law to a bus route, is looked at through the lens of heat. Externally, they're the city's lead advocate for heat safety. They secure funding for cooling projects, push for policy changes like requiring landlords to provide safe indoor temperatures, and connect their city to a growing global movement. Through networks like the Cool Cities Accelerator, a coalition of now over 33 cities, CHOs share what works, learn from each other's failures, and push for more ambitious action worldwide. The solutions pioneered in Athens can help Austin. The community model from Freetown can inspire Nairobi. The rise of the chief heat officer is a hopeful sign, but for them to succeed, they need public support. They need political will, and that's where you come in. Start by getting informed. Look up your own city. Does it have a heat action plan? Are there programs to plant more trees or help low-income families with cooling? If your city has a CHO, find out what they're working on. And if it doesn't, ask your local officials a simple question: Who is in charge of protecting our community from extreme heat? Demanding action starts with asking the right questions. The solutions are out there, but they'll only be put into practice if we, the citizens, demand them. Our planet is getting hotter. The last 11 years have been the 11 warmest ever recorded, and that trend isn't slowing down. Our cities, as we've built them, are heat amplifiers, making the problem worse and putting our most vulnerable people directly in harm's way. We are at a crossroads. We can just accept preventable deaths and rising costs as the new normal, or we can choose to redesign our cities with the reality of the 21st century. The Chief Heat Officer represents that choice. It's a proactive, coordinated, and compassionate way to govern. It's proof that we are not helpless. With a mix of immediate public health action and visionary urban design, we can build cities that are not only safer, but also healthier and more equitable and better for everyone. Cooling our cities is one of the great challenges of our time. It calls for a new way of thinking, a new set of priorities, and a new kind of leader. It requires a Chief Heat Officer in every city, because a city that's safe for its most vulnerable communities during a heat wave is a city that's better for all of us all year round. If this got you thinking, be sure to hit the like button and subscribe for more videos breaking down the big ideas in sustainability. Let us know in the comments, does your city already have a Chief Heat Officer? Thanks for watching, and see you next time.